is Susan Rushton, and this is my other show. This is AhMuse. This is the show I get to, I'm thrilled to, I'm tickled to, I'm allowed to, I'm privileged to. I just get to talk to people who are caught by the muse, and in a variety of ways: dancing, singing, behaving strangely, and so forth. The people who act and draw and sing, etc. My guest today is Kathy Goldie. Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you.
She is the relatively new in two months? 3 months?
April 11th.
Okay.
I started, yeah.
She's the new general manager of the State Theater. And if you want to know more about her and or the State Theater, Goldie is her email, kgoldie@auburnstatetheater.org, or log on to auburnstatetheater.org, THEATRE. It's at 985 Lincoln Way, phone number 530-885-0156, and info@auburnstatetheater.org. And so there it is. There's all that here down here, and we'll do a little bit more of it later. But meanwhile, Kathy Goldie. So, the message I've gotten is that you have been wanting to manage the State Theater for a long time. And here you are. Now, why have you been wanting to manage the State Theater?
Well, first, thank you for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate this opportunity. And I fell in love with Auburn State Theater before they tore down the walls. I was doing Lend Me a Tenor.
Which is a play.
Which is a play, a comedy. And I was given a tour by one of our castmates, and before we had gotten on the stage, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with just the history of it. And
but it was kind of a mess then, right?
It was a mess, but you know what? It was the vision was there. I could see the vision. Okay. And the people were so warm and friendly. And I just half jokingly said, when the executive director leaves, I want her job. Yeah. She left, and then someone else came in, and then
and then he left.
Yes, and I was I just fell in love with it, and so so the story is I have been in early child education for 20 plus.
Perfect with actors.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Want to know something, Susan? Working with children actors are easier than directing adults. I'll have to say that. But
anything you want, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you want me to go over here? Sure.
And they're not afraid. They're not afraid to take risks, or they don't get their feelings hurt. But I've worked with great actors, so I'm very blessed. But so I was working in early childhood education, working with both typical kids and autistic children, and I decided it was time to make a change. So I was working with a life coach, and he goes, "What do you want to do? It sounds to me like you really love the performing arts and event planning." And I said,
yeah,
quite a bit, right?
What's your point?
Yeah. And so, I said, I want to move to a small town and get back into the performing arts. And I texted my friend, Patty Baker, and
Patty Baker.
Yes.
Patty Baker. She's important with the State Theater Acting Company.
Yes. Stack. So I was also a founding member of that. But anyway, so she texted me back, and she told me to contact our CEO and president, Colleen Sands. And I did. And within a 3-week process, I was hired. And it's a dream job. Yeah. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah. The process was just, it was surreal.
Wow.
Yeah. So I moved back up from the Bay Area.
Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just surreal.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have a wonderful staff.
Yes, you do.
I should say we have a wonderful staff. And we have a board that is active and
enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic, yep.
Yes.
And supportive. So
and they love Auburn and they love the theater. Yes.
Yeah. And I have to say my favorite part of my job is meeting the patrons before shows and talking to them. And
by patrons, you don't mean, you mean people just coming to see things?
People coming to see the shows.
Okay.
Yeah. Or anybody. I get to meet people in the community that want to rent our facility, and that's amazing. But there's this energy that I love about meeting people in the community and outside the community, coming and, explaining a little bit of the history. Or people will come and tell me the history of when they were kids and how they went to the movies here, or it was their first job. And so I absolutely love that part of my job. Yes. And I just fell in love with the theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I want to share a little bit about myself. Before I was a manager, I would look over at my manager's desk, and he was rarely there. I thought, what the heck does he do all day? Why isn't he there working? And then I became a manager, and I realized what he was doing. He was doing everything. And there was the music day. There was a music day a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're at the beginning of July, and this was sort of in the middle of June. July 2021, I'm sorry. There was a music little performance in the hallway of the State Theater. And there you were, moving things around, just getting things. You appeared, and then you disappeared. You appeared with your stuff in your arms, and it disappeared, and then you were managing.
Yeah, I mean that was really a community thing. I had spoken with Anne at the symphony, and she had the cello player and the violinist that played interested in our foyer, and I was like, absolutely. And so she asked to use our bistro tables, and so that's what we do. We work as a community and we support each other. And it was a wonderful, I was so pleased to see how many people came and actually sat and listened, and it was delightful seeing you.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for noticing. It's just my pleasure to be a part of that.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Collaboration is key for us, I think, in the arts. So even visual arts, I think it's important for us to just support each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
Great. Now, but using your muscle is not the only thing a general manager does for the State Theater.
Oh no.
What is your job?
My job is to make sure that the theater runs like a well-oiled machine, that people feel welcome. I'm also responsible for marketing, advertising, and collaboration.
Which is the business
serious
side. Business
yeah,
side.
Yeah, it's serious, but it's making sure that we're selling tickets, making sure that we're getting audience members in.
Yeah.
Our goal is
looking to see who is available. Oh, yes! Let's bring them in.
Yeah, unfortunately we have help, but I get to see it, and I get to help make the decision to bring them to the theater. And what I'm loving is that's one thing I do ask our patrons when they're waiting to go in is, what would you like to see at the State Theater? And so giving my email was awesome, because if they want to say, hey, I want to see more country, or I want to see more big band, they can actually email me and give me their suggestions. So please give me your suggestions, so that we can bring more variety to Auburn State Theater. And then we have our rental events, like we had the Placer Pops this year twice. Oh my goodness, they're absolutely phenomenal, and they're an asset to us, because they bring in such a wonderful array of patrons and new people that can experience the beautiful State Theater and the excitement of just being in this amazing Art Deco theater. So
I went to the second performance of the class are pops,
Yeah.
and half the people raise their hand. Yes, we're here for the first time.
Yeah, and
That was
it was a
exciting.
lot of people because it
Yeah.
was close to 200 people.
Yeah.
So thank you for noticing.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, and they're so good.
Yeah.
They are just so good, and so it's such a wonderful thing to be able to collaborate in that way too.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my day-to-day job, you never know. I always say everything's a priority.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, so I make a list, and I may not get to that list
Yeah.
because you just don't know in a theater.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen day to day.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to stick to my big priorities so that we continue to run the best we possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So everything's a priority, and I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for having this job. It's a blessing, and it's a dream. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So
Good. So, what is you just mentioned it's a dream that you're not going to wake up from. So, what is there something different that you have in your head for the state?
I was telling someone recently, I said, the theater isn't about me. The theater is about bringing joy to the community
Mm-hmm.
and joy to the patrons that come, old or new. I like to say that the state feels like a heartbeat of the community. And so really the theater isn't about me so much, is about I get to take what I love, which is the performing arts, not just theater, because I did theater.
Movies, theater.
And
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was on that stage.
Yeah.
So before they tore down the walls, and then I was blessed to be able to do Fiddler on the Roof when the walls were there.
Yeah.
And, there's such a variety, but it's really about bringing joy to the community for me and making a difference if I can, which I think I will. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to talk about anything bigger than that, in the sense that, again, I've said it all along, this isn't about me,
Mm-hmm.
where oftentimes it can happen where you come into a place, you're an artist, you have one specific thing that you do,
Mm-hmm.
which for me is musical theater. But now I'm in the position where it's not just about that.
Right.
Our stack is very, very important to our community. They have brought so many good shows.
By stack.
State Theater Acting Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually have auditions for Shrek on July 9th, starting July 9th.
Yes.
So they can go to auburnstatetheater.org to get more information about the Shrek audition starting on July 9th. But it's not just about just one thing anymore for me.
Yeah.
So I have to broaden my horizons, for
Right.
lack of a better words.
Yeah.
And the blessing for also I get to see things I've never seen before. So I get interviewed on Mary Jane Pops's radio station
on K-High.
K-High every Thursday
K-High
afternoon.
radio. Yeah.
Yep, at 12:30. And I always say, I'm new to the state, and what's great is I get to see all these new artists, and I can't say I've seen a bad performance.
That's great.
Yeah. So
That's wonderful.
yeah, we have the Gothard sisters coming up this weekend,
Okay.
and they're a Celtic group, and they do a little bit of Celtic with a little bit of other flair into what they do. So it's Celtic folk and contemporary folk.
Have they been here before?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
So they're coming again, and
Yeah.
so they will probably be here later.
Actually, they're coming Friday, July 15th at 7:30.
Okay.
And again, you can go to Auburn State Theater with an RE.org to get tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And their tickets are selling fast.
Oh,
so, but they've been here before. Again, I haven't seen them,
All right.
but I don't believe that they would be booked again if they hadn't been here before.
Right.
And they were wonderful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'd like to clarify that that this show, this conversation takes a little adjusting afterward. So it may not be that people will be able to, for example, apply for Shrek as to act in. But when is it going to be produced?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. So it's going to be November 5th through November 20th,
2021.
2022.
Yeah. We're in 2022?
Yeah.
Oh, good grief.
That's okay. I do that myself.
Oh,
It happens. It happens. But yeah, we have...
Be happy. You're not, if you're feeling this way, the way I am, you're not alone. And I'm happy that I'm not alone either, too.
Oh, I do it all the time. I walk into a room and I forget what I did. You know?
Yes,
I should have just left it alone. But anyway, yeah, we have matinees at 2:00, and then our evening performances will be at 7:30.
Yeah.
So yeah, and my goodness, the sets are going to be amazing.
I can imagine.
And there's going to be some new wonderful technical features for the set and the scenery. So you have to show up if you want to see it.
Yes.
Yeah, so...
And this is the musical version.
Yes, it's
not the original cartoon thing.
No, it's the musical.
And I loved the original cartoon thing. And
I know. Yeah. So it's loosely based on that.
Yeah.
But they're going to have some special effects that are going to be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and everything they do is always amazing. I feel that way, not because I work at the state. Prior to coming back, I would come up just to see their plays.
Sure.
Yeah. So they're dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you are an actor.
Yeah, I have a voice degree. I study classical music, but my forte is musical theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long? When did you start acting?
You know, I acted in college, and I was told to stay and get my acting degree, but I didn't. Hindsight, right? I wish I had. I started acting a lot in my early 30s.
Okay.
And yeah, and you know, I never got a lead until I got older. And so I've played wonderful roles like Nellie Forbush in South Pacific.
Wow.
I played Rosie, the English teacher, in Bye Bye Birdie. I forget her name. I played this one hysterical character in How to Succeed in Business. But
where?
It was up in Grass Valley.
Okay.
So in Penn, it was all at Lake Wildwood. It was I did some other shows at the Center for the Arts in their small black box theater, their smaller theater. But you know, I have to say, and it's not because I now work at the state, but doing Fiddler on the Roof and being Golda.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd fall in love with Golda. She was very different from that ingenue. And I fell in love with her. I mean, she is this strong woman, but she had this nurturing...
she had to nurture everybody.
Yeah, and her nurturing quality was unbelievable. And then playing opposite David Lynn as Tevye, it was such an experience. And it was so cute because, you know, we'd go out there in costume and they'd say, "You two should be on Broadway."
Well.
And I said, "Oh, thank you very much." And then someone talked to me about the Sabbath prayer. This was just last week. And they said every time we did the Sabbath prayer, she cried.
Oh.
You know, and we became a family. And I still am friends with some of my Fiddler on the Roof daughters. I'm still friends with them on Facebook and other people that were in the show.
Wow.
Because it really is one of those shows that brings you together as a family. You know, and
as an audience.
And as an audience. Yeah. It was magical.
Yes.
But she's very different from the ingenue, but I think she's my favorite part because of the depth that she has as a character. And I did do 2 professional shows in San Francisco. One was I could say dramedy, part drama, part comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one was called Crumbs from the Table of Joy. And I got to play a German immigrant.
Oh boy. Okay.
Who marries into a black family.
Ah.
And it was just a super interesting experience to go through that process. And I had a German dialect coach, and it was just an interesting story. And it was one of the things where when I came into this family, I wasn't well received.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the play, there was love.
Good.
Yeah, and the things that they did was just they would have us be present in the present tense, and then they would go to like a black and white film type with their special effects, and it would be my stepdaughter imagining what could be. So it was magical, and I love getting deep into the characters. So she was based on what was she based on now? She had really thin eyebrows. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay.
But I read her her
That's
bio.
not you. I'm not the only one that happens.
Yes, I don't remember her name. Not Greta Garbo. Anyway, she sang "Falling in Love Again," but yeah, I waxed my eyebrows thin. I read her biography. I watched her films, and I enjoy that part of dissecting a character.
Yeah.
It's probably more than you wanted to know.
No, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny how the AhMuse, Audrey Hepburn's my muse. Audrey Hepburn's my muse.
Explain that.
Oh God, I love her. I used to watch all her movies with my sister. So things like Daddy Long Legs, Funny Face, and everything about her style, her how she presented herself, and her talents. And then she was a, someone that I'm drawing a blank on the word, but she got very involved in UNICEF.
Yes.
And so I love who she is as a whole person. And I've watched her documentaries, and I just love who she is, not only as an actress, and she started out as a ballet dancer, and her beginnings were very, she was poor.
Yes.
And she was born, during the war.
Right.
And her story is phenomenal. So if I could be this much like her, I would.
Well, you are at least this much like her. You're an actor. You are a singer. You have other things going on. Yeah.
So I think that's something I really admire about her, and so I would put her picture up on my mirror when I was doing like Bye Bye Birdie, because I wanted to feel, tall and thin and poised and energetic and brilliant, and I wanted that was who I had my foundation of who Rosie was in Bye Bye Birdie. Greta Garbo. That's
Greta
who
Garbo.
it was.
Greta Garbo.
Right. Yeah. And I just I just went off on a tangent on you, but she's my muse.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And so if I can, just be that person, I think that's why I fell in love with working with autistic kids, because they take a little bit maybe more time, but they're brilliant.
Yeah.
And I got to see this, kids that were nonverbal, grow into being verbal. Kids that were aggressive to being more gentle. Kids that couldn't focus on a task during Zoom with their mom could do their task.
Could finally do that.
In 45 minutes. And so I think that's part of my nurturing.
Yeah. So you're not just an actress.
No.
You're not just a director. You're not just a manager. You are a fully formed human being, just like Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah. And I love to mentor. I used to mentor my teachers, that I supervised.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the joy of watching them evolve.
Yeah.
It's just a gift.
That's great.
Yeah. Life is a gift.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. What advice do you have for people who go on stage?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's not something I've put on my list.
That's a good one. I love directing children's theater, and I worked for 2 private schools in the Bay Area. And the kids were absolutely amazing. And the one thing I tell them is really, what's the story? Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have them write down their character's biography, basically. Sure. Well, and what's your relationship? We did King and I. And King and I is a very complex story.
Mm-hmm.
And those children got it. They got the racial.
Yes. Racial difference and the racial problems.
And and they got that. They fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
And they got it.
Mm-hmm.
And having 8th graders evolve and build relationships on stage
and
have a clear understanding of who they represent in this play and what the play represents is magic. So I guess I would say is that when you get on stage, who are you?
Okay. Don't
worry about the audience. Who are you on stage?
You're going to worry enough about the audience.
They disappear.
Okay.
When you are...
Say that again.
The audience disappears.
Okay.
Because, for example, my relationship with Tevye.
Okay.
He was my focus. He was my husband.
Your husband, yeah.
He was under stress. Or when our daughter in Fiddler goes off with the German soldier, right? Oh. I have to run on stage and be stressed out and have this connection of our daughter has walked away.
Yeah.
And I would get in the fetal position and be rocking, and I have to say our person, taping this session, he one time came in the back of, I was in the back, and he taps on me, he goes, "You okay?" And I was just getting into character.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing would be develop your relationships on stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about theater is I get to be someone totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
And so my biggest advice would be disappear into your character and find what is that? Because in that 2-hour or 3-hour period, you're no longer yourself.
True. You're the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Audience doesn't matter. And if you're really in a conversation with your partner on stage, they'll disappear. The other thing I told my students, do what you love, the money will follow.
Yes.
And I think I'd say that because I was discouraged to go into the performing arts.
Sure.
Back when I was raised, that was not what you did. And
you want to make lots and lots of money doing something important, nothing frivolous.
No, and I got my music degree, but I went into advertising for 12 and a half years selling advertising. So, but I believe we have our journey, and I believe everything that I've done has led me to this point.
Yeah.
And that I've had great joys of doing things in the theater, and doing things that I love. And I'll tell this last story about.
Kathy, we don't
Are we
have
done?
Time. We're done. Yeah, we're done.
That's okay.
And we're thrilled. All of us in this room are thrilled to talk with you. It's been a kick. This has been Kathy Goldie, who is general manager of the State Theater, the new general manager of the State Theater. If you want to learn more, Auburn State Theater, TheaTre.org. If you want to contact her, K Goldie, Goldie, at auburnstatetheater.org. And buy a ticket to something. Come to the State Theater and you'll see her. Well, Kathy, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
So much for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for watching. I'll see you again.